All right, guys, so here's page 3. So you have water flowing is into a tank, gallons per minute, and here's a chart of what's happening at certain times. And the question is, use a trapezoidal sum. So let's highlight some of that stuff. You want to use a trapezoidal sum with 3 intervals indicated by the table to estimate the amount of water which entered the tank from time equals 0 to time equals 9. So this is just a regular integral. So you're going to go the integral from 0 to 9 of your function r of t. And I just need to figure out what that equals. Okay, now it's saying how to do it. So you're going to use a trapezoidal sum. So let's look at our 3 intervals. You're going from 0 to 4, then you're going from 4 to 7, and then you're going from 7 to 9. And then remember, the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the base times height 1 plus height 2. So if I do this for a trapezoid, remember we're going to highlight both of these numbers because you have 2 heights in each trapezoid. So you're going to have 1/2. The base is the distance from 0 to 4, which is 4. Height 1 is the height at 0, which is 9. And then height 2 is the height at 4, which is 6. And then plus 1/2, the base is 3. And then the height at 4 is 6. We already did that. And then the height at 7 is 4. And then plus 1/2, the base here, sorry, I forgot to hide the base, is 2. And then height 1 at 7 is 4. And then height 2 at 9 is 3. Okay, so putting all this together, we've got 1/2 times 4 is 2, so this is 2 times 15, plus 6 plus 4 is 10, half of 10 is 5, so this is 5 times 3, and then this cancels and we get 7, so that's 30 plus 15 plus 7, which is 45 plus 7, which is 52, so your answer is C. All right, number 12, a regular integral. There's a whole bunch of these on the test, so please make sure you can do these. So the integral of 4x cubed is 4x to the 4th over 4, or just x to the 4th. The integral of 6x is 6x squared over 2, or just 3x squared. And you're evaluating this from 1 to 2. And guys, I cannot emphasize this more. Please make sure you make this little template, right? Top minus bottom. It's really going to help you avoid making mistakes. So 2 to the 4th is 16, minus 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12. And if I plug in the 1, 1 to the 4th is 1. If I plug in the 1 here, 1 squared is 1 times 3 is 3. So this is going to end up giving you 4. The 16 minus 12 is 4. Minus 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 4 minus negative 2 is the same as 4 plus 2, which is 6. Okay, number 13. I don't know how to really do division in integrals, so the only way I can fix this thing is to move the x cubed back up. So this is going to be integral from 1 to 2 of x to the negative 3. If I integrate that, remember I want to add 1, right? So this is going to be x to the negative 2 over negative 2, evaluated from 1 to 2. Now, when you're evaluating, you really don't want to plug in numbers that have negative exponents. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little guy and move it back down to the denominator. So it's going to be 1 over negative 2x to the positive 2. So that x squared moved right down there, okay? I don't like those negative exponents. Now I'm evaluating from 1 to 2. And again, you guys, please, please, please make sure you draw out your template. So it's top minus bottom. Okay, now plugging it in. So if I plug the 2 into here, that's going to be negative 1 over 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then minus, if I plug the 1 in, that's going to be negative 1 over 2. And then 1 squared is just 1. So that's just going to be negative 1 over 2. Erase that, make that prettier. So this ends up being negative 1 over 8 plus 1 over 2. If I find a common denominator, that's going to be negative 1 over 8 plus 4 over 8, which ends up being 3 over 8. So your answer is D. Now, 14 is a fun little question. It gives you like all of these things, right? And you're like, what the heck does this all mean? Okay, but let's see what they're looking for. They're asking you to find f of 3 minus f of 0. I know it's a big F, and there's a difference between a big F and a little f. I'll show you that in a second. But you guys, what you should start thinking is like, where have we seen something like f of b minus f of a? Remember, that came from net change. So the net change formula told us that the integral from a to b of f prime of x is f of b minus f of a. So this is what this is kind of mimicking, right? This is kind of like your f of b minus f of a. So let me put that in there and write it this way, f of 3 minus f of 0, except it's a big F this time. So let's see if we can work it backwards. What would this integral have to go from? Well, it would have to go from 0 to 3, so that's that. And then this function would have to be big F prime of x, so that I would get big F when I actually evaluate it. Okay, now what does this mean? So I'm trying to find out what this is. Since it's the same thing as this, let's use that. Now, I don't know how to integrate that, but I do have a graph. So here's where I'm going to go and use the information they gave me. They said this is a graph of F. This is the graph of F. But then they said here that F and big F prime are exactly the same thing. So this is also a graph of big F prime, which is really useful because then this just means area under the curve. Okay, so I need to find the area under the curve from x equals 0 all the way to x equals 3. So I'm going to break this up into two little parts. I'm going to look at this area first because that's kind of easy to find. Okay, the area of that is just base times height, which is 2. Okay, now I need to find the area of this. But I've got myself a little problem. I don't know how to do that, okay? Because it's a curve and it's not like a good geometric shape that I know the area of. But there is one thing I have not used yet, which is this, okay? It says that the integral from 1 to 3 of f is 2.3. This is just saying that the area from 1 to 3 is 2.3. So, hey, they told me what it was. So what's the area under the whole curve? It's going to be 2 plus 2.3, which equals 4.3, which is D. Now, you guys, I saw a lot of you on number 15 in class today saying that the answer is 9 because you're going 6 plus 3 is 9. Be really careful. Let's see what they're asking you here. They're asking you, what is the integral from 2 to 4 of f of x plus 3? I need to split the integral. This is the same thing as the integral from 2 to 4 of f of x plus the integral from 2 to 4 of 3. Okay, now this right here they gave me. They told me that the integral from 2 to 4 of f of x is 6. But this I actually have to find. So the integral of 3 is 3x, and I'm going to evaluate that from 2 to 4. If I plug this in, this is going to be 12 minus 6, which is 6. So this also happens to be a 6. That is a complete coincidence, by the way. And then 6 plus 6 is just 12, so this is going to be D. All right?